Up next, we've got movies. We're going to talk about Star Wars. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the new trailer hitting. It wasn't quite a surprise, but the trailer itself was amazing. I mean, honestly, we've seen it. I guess I don't know, between the both of us, probably about 50 times.
Probably about 50 times.
Which is
Our new segment is
ridiculous,
going to be
but-
called Trailer Park. We figured out how to incorporate trailers into what it is that we're doing without getting sued.
Yeah, exactly. Without getting our pantsuit off, we're actually going to show the trailer now, and we're going to talk over it a little bit, just to give our general kind of opinions of things that we're seeing and stuff. And then when the trailer's done, we're going to pop back in and discuss it at length, some of the things that it brings up, and some of the questions that we had.
Let's watch.
Anyways, yeah, let's watch it. Oh, this is the best part. The green screen? No.
And here we go.
See, right from the hop, you're getting a vibe here from a cartoon called Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind, or Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, where it's just this the female explorer who's completely independent, goes on adventures, looks at things. She doesn't have a droid in the movie, and this part too, like the sound design and all of the reaction on her face, like the little smile here at the end, that's amazing. But they're doing new things with the video, the way that they're shooting it, and the audio as well.
Abrams was the right pick for this.
Yeah. See, this is really cool too, because you get the feeling that the Empire is kind of still around, but they don't know what to do, so they're willing to follow anybody, and that's maybe why they're following this.
One huge loss is not going to stop them. They were so big.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it's 30 years afterwards, but I mean,
Star Destroyer Bridge?
I'm thinking red is the color evil, so the Star Wars color of evil, and then Darth Vader someone again.
I don't know how we got a hold of it.
Well, obviously he had to go to Endor at one point. Here he is doing some Force nastiness to someone. Now that whole exploding Force thing, I guess that's the super weapon that they've got.
This is so badass, it's not for believing.
Oh yeah, they're doing so many different things with camera angles and the way that action films are shot and stuff. This part was great too, like having Han Solo basically confirm to them that the Force was real after in the first movie saying it was just a hook reel.
These X-Wings and all of this combat looks so
Yeah.
phenomenal.
I love the planetary combat. Like the space stuff is really fun too, but I mean having something like where it's a real air-sea, land battle.
Right
happening.
there.
Yeah.
Everything wrong with Episode 3 is corrected here.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm willing to go that far just yet, but it's really
In
good.
terms of the starfighters, absolutely. I don't want to watch
yeah.
little droids ripping a ship apart. I want to watch ships ripping each other apart.
Yeah, exactly. Actual real dogfighting. See, there's a trench too, like a throwback to the first movie. Yeah, like the characters, they seem pretty well thought out. I don't know. I really like this trailer. I mean, it raises a lot of questions as to what the movie's actually going to be about.
It's artfully done.
Yeah, but I definitely, this is awakened my interest. Excuse the pun.
I see what you did.
I know, it was terrible.
And we're
Completely
still
shameless.
6 weeks away.
Something like that.
Can't wait. The first thing that I have to talk about there, it's been memed to death, Han Solo's conversion from the Toku religions and ancient weapons to Jedi, Dark Jedi, it's real, all of it. Oh my god. Now, in Han Solo's lifetime, the Jedis were a huge force in the universe for good and for justice.
Yep.
They were extinguished, I'm going to guess, around the time Han Solo was born.
Yep.
And within his lifetime, by the time we reach A New Hope, it's the point where Jedi are considered to be basically fiction, that it is mind tricks, that it's misdirects ancient weapons.
Yeah, like I think
how does that happen?
I think it makes sense because when you look at like the canon, like now that the prequels are like basically the only canon that are out there, there aren't that many Jedi, period, right? And the galaxy is a big place, so your average chance of being like an average citizen in the Star Wars universe and actually having contact with the Jedi is probably very slim. And
Okay.
So for most people, they just hear about it through other things. Like, so some big shit happens, like where it's like, two Jedi stopped a war, and then it just becomes a story that gets floated around at the bar or whatever. Like,
No one
you're
can
Mos.
corroborate it.
Yeah, you're at the Mos Eisley spaceport, and you're like, yeah, there was this thing that happened on Naboo back then. I was there, man. It was crazy. Two Jedi went in, and they killed all these robots, and it was awesome. And then everybody's just like, whatever,
Sure thing,
drunkie.
Dr.
Yeah.
Evison.
Yeah, thanks for making stuff up there. So, but yeah, like I think that it's a nice touch because really, the Jedi were kind of larger than life to begin with, anyways, and I don't think it would be too far out of the realm of possibility that most people just don't think that they're really anything. Like they're at most they probably think, oh, they're just like kind of special, Republic cops.
Like
They're
a
not...
council of wise people.
Yeah,
and
like
high-end lawyers. I
Yeah,
don't even know
exactly.
how to put it.
Arbitrators or whatever. Yeah,
Because-
diplomats. Yeah.
Because they obviously did hold a significant amount of sway over what happened within the Republic.
Yeah,
within the Old Republic.
but unless you're living on Coruscant, you're probably not seeing that. Like for the average Imperial citizen or whatever, the average, I guess, Republic citizen before it becomes the Empire, they represent so many different species and so many different cultures that you wouldn't really even think that most people would even know very much about them. They would just be kind of like, oh, that's a thing that's happened, but it wouldn't be, you wouldn't know very much about the Force, at least anyways, because unless you're witnessing it firsthand, you're probably only thinking that they're space cops, or something, right?
Or
so
something.
yeah, so I mean, I think that's valid. I don't think that's too,
sure, and the movie's
too crazy.
consistent with Episode 4 to Episode 7.
Right.
Han talks about it the way that it was in Episode 4.
Yeah.
And his decision to change his mind, presented with new information.
Yeah.
Good guy Han Solo, as that new meme is shown, understands what nuance is.
Yeah.
With new information,
He figures it out.
Makes
Yeah.
new assessments about the world.
Well,
around
he was
him.
kind of like that because the first movie he was very like Ben's just a crazy old man. Why are we following this guy and
Yep.
everything else? And for the most part, like
Great at getting us into trouble.
yeah, in the prequels, they pull out their lightsabers at the drop of a hat. But in the normal movies, the lightsaber stuff is very rare, and normally it's only between one Jedi versus another. Like other than that small little scene in the cantina with Ben chopping off that dude's arm, there's no mention of lightsabers or any of the accoutrements of being a Jedi.
Right, and
so
the only
for the
reason
average, yeah.
the saber came out was because the blaster was being drawn.
Yeah,
Ben
it
was
was-
left with no alternative. He would have done it another way if he
Yeah.
wasn't forced to use
Yeah.
violence.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's for the average person. I mean, they see that and they're like, "Oh, that's something I haven't seen in a while, maybe," or like maybe they've never even seen it before.
Well,
and
you
they're like,
remember
"Well,
the
what fuck?"
scene,
Yeah.
don't you? I mean, the arm
Yeah.
comes off, everyone sees it, the entire place goes quiet, and then everyone goes back to their drinks and shuts the fuck up.
Well, yeah, the kind of clientele I guess it's at the cantina doesn't really care about some dude getting his arm chopped
Well,
off. But
just
yeah.
the way that it happened, wow, holy shit.
Yeah,
Nobody
so-
says a fucking thing. That's one thing I love about that scene.
No, and yeah, no, it's awesome, but it also shows, I think, what most people kind of associate the Force being about, which is peace and defense, and not necessarily going on the
Never for
warpath all
attack.
the time. Yeah. So where's Luke during this entire trailer? The trailer before now, he has a voiceover part where he's talking about how he was a Jedi and
Force
his
is
dad
strong in
was
my
a Jedi,
family.
and now you're a Jedi, and blah blah blah. blah. But he's completely
Conspicuously absent.
absent from this trailer. So what do you think's going on there?
There are some that have said that they think that he's the man behind Kylo Ren's mask. I don't think I buy into that. I don't think they would betray the character and turn him into something dark and villainous like that.
No, I mean, he actually wanted to be that, though. Back in 2005, he actually pitched it to Lucasfilm, saying that, make a new trilogy, and I'll be the person that turns, and I'll be the new emperor, and blah, blah, blah. And I think they shot him down on that, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that's a thing. But my feeling is that maybe he's the one that tried to train this kid, Kylo Ren, I guess, and possibly John Bodega's character, Finn. Once he figures out that the Force has kind of come back and there's now Force sensitive kids that are running around or whatever.
The
But
Force actually increases its power throughout the galaxy. Is that not part of the premise of the script?
yeah,
as we understand
I
it?
think so. Yeah, like I'm trying to stay away from a lot of the nitty gritty behind this one because I really kind of want to go in.
I wanna dive
and be
into
clean.
and
Yeah.
just-
So, but I mean, apparently, J.J. Abrams went on record, I think today, to talk a little bit about Luke Skywalker and why he wasn't in the trailer. So I stayed away from that. I mean, if you
I
guys are
haven't
wanting
even
to
seen
go,
this.
you guys want to go see it. It's probably everywhere on every news site.
Now,
Him talking about it, but I
One
didn't
other
want to
thing
do that.
that I'll ask about the poster, the super weapon in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah.
What's the deal there? How
The
are
little-
enough resources amassed to be able to construct such a thing?
I don't know. From what I understand, the name of the weapon is Star Killer. So it's a little bit of a spoiler, I guess. But I mean, there are lots of throwbacks to the original movie. Now, I think you pointed this out to me that there was some concern on behalf of Lucasfilms and Disney, I guess in general, that Star Wars wouldn't resonate as much with foreign audiences as it would with the local audiences who
Domestic.
kind of kept the flame alive with the Star Wars fandom. And I'm wondering if they're deliberately choosing to have a lot of kind of callbacks to the original movie as a solid base to launch this new trilogy on. Because I
That
mean,
could be.
you have a super weapon, which I mean, it's not beyond the pale. I mean, most militaries, that's the goal, right? To have one weapon that they can use to win whatever war that they're fighting. So
For sure.
and this is an army, like he's leading a group of ex-Imperials, I guess, or
Are
whatever.
they called the First Order? Or those
Something like that's right. I think you're right.
Or is it First Order of the X-Wings? I can't remember now.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it's basically it's like the mini empire, what's left of the empire. It sounds like,
Yeah.
right? And then there's a trench on the planet that they're on one of the scenes. Like, so when you see the battle in the trailer where they're flying over the lake and it's all wooded and stuff, there's also a whole bunch of stuff that happens over an ice field too. So I don't know if that's a different planet or if that's just a different part of the same planet that they're fighting on, or
Could be.
what. I know that the desert planet that you see at the beginning isn't Tatooine. It's
Good.
it's a different place altogether, like Jakku, I think, or something it's called. So yeah, I don't know, but
Not everything
I
has
mean,
to happen on Tatooine.
yeah, so, but I mean, what we understand so far, the character Finn seems like he's force sensitive, or at least
I think
he's
it's a
training
guarantee.
somehow
He's
to
got
be
a lightsaber.
Jedi.
And he's showing down with
Yeah,
Kylo
and
Ren
so
at that point.
so Luke has to be involved somewhere, because if you look at the old, I guess, the role-playing games, like the West End Games products and stuff, Luke is the only person that can train anybody after Jedi, because he's the only one left.
Well, the only one left, which
Yeah.
I would buy into here. There's never been a suggestion otherwise. I mean, force-sensitive people are still going to exist, whether there are Jedi around or not.
Yeah, but it sounds
That's
like there
for
wasn't
sure.
that many of them after Jedi ended, and then all of a sudden now there's a whole bunch. So we don't know whether or not the character of Rey, who's played by Daisy Ridley, who's the character in the first part of the trailer, is force sensitive or not. She is one of the protagonists, though. Obviously, she's a heroine in the film, but we don't really know if she's like a force person or not. And then there's like that mysterious voice that's talking about letting the force in. We don't know who that is.
No.
We don't know if this is like another character that might be a trainer
It's
or
not
someone
Leia.
that knows about it. I don't know. Like there's a fair amount of kind of random shots in the trailer that I can't explain based on stuff that I know from the older movies. Like there's one part where Han's leading them to what looks like a shield bunker, so I'm thinking like Endor, but I don't know. And then there's like this crazy like Ewok robot running around or whatever, and I
Yeah.
don't know if that's them or if that's like some other thing. I haven't really read any of the in-depth, like the people that are actively going after the spoilers coverage, but yeah, I mean it'd be interesting kind of to see who that character is. Obviously she's someone that Rey runs into very early, because she has that "Who are you?" So obviously she catches her at some point, like breaking into something or stealing something.
Yeah,
or something.
she's some kind of a scavenger.
Yeah,
or
like it seems like the whole
relic
group that
hunter.
she's the whole group that she's with is kind of like downtrodden a little bit. She's not necessarily
Okay.
the richest, and you can tell that because they show that to you. Like she seems to be a very great actress, and that she can be very expressive without having to be over flourishing about it. Like there's the really awesome part in the trailer on the 25-30 second mark where there's a ship leaving the atmosphere, and you don't see that a lot in Star Wars. Like when the ships leave, it's that loud thruster sound that they leave, but this is like it's in the background and it sounds like a rocket taking off out of the atmosphere.
Right.
And she looks up at it, and then at the very end you can tell like she's looking very wistfully at it, and then she has that little smile, like like one day that's going to be me. I'm going to get off this rock and
Right.
I won't have to be a scavenger anymore or whatever. So you kind of get the impression that she is kind of like just eking out an existence in the desert or whatever with her droids.
And
so
then becomes part of a bigger world around her. Where
Yeah.
we've seen that before.
yeah, exactly. The only other thing I guess that I wanted to kind of to say about it, and I hate that my brain works this way, but I am a little bit cynical about the movie, and it's not so much because it's J.J. Abrams. I mean, to be honest, he hasn't had a great track record with the things that he's made. Like he's been kind of really hit and miss for me. But the idea that it's the Disney corporate machine that's pushing this thing, where we had this trailer released on a Monday, and then that same night they started selling advance tickets to the opening of the film, so you could actually go online and buy the movie.
Yep, Fandango had it.
We ranted
Cineplex
about
had
this
it.
a couple of episodes ago, but I'll say it again. You're being asked to spend money on something that you don't know what it is. Which I mean. It's Star Wars. How bad could it be, I guess? But I mean, you're supporting something without really knowing or understanding what it is that you're supporting.
To be fair, though, advance ticket sales for movies are nothing new.
No, they're not.
The only
And
thing different is it's a few weeks earlier than what it might normally be.
But I mean, honestly, as a rule of thumb, I typically don't buy. I won't.
And that's
buy,
okay.
Yeah, I won't buy.
I've already got mine.
Yeah. Rob's just like, this is going to be the best movie of the year. The precog rating for this one, you've never seen the movie.
Rating for this is A-.
It's going to be an A-.
This
So
movie, I'm just going to go on record right now. Star Wars: The Force Awakens, A-.
Yeah. You probably don't know this about us, but we tend to make predictions about movies like months before they come out. We had a prediction about Ant-Man before it came out.
These aren't predictions. These are honest ratings.
These are honest ratings that when we predicted it, we said A- also for Ant-Man, and sure enough, it was a solid A-.
We enjoyed it more than Age of Ultron. We
Yeah.
might be in the minority there, but I thought it was highly, highly entertaining.
Age of Ultron was terrible compared to Ant-Man. It was just a muddled
I don't know if
mess.
I go so
hate
far
it.
as to say terrible, but Ant-Man was so much more fun and clean.
Yep.
It worked very, very well. I don't think Episode 7 will be any different.
Yeah.
If I walk out disappointed this time around, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm willing to kind of put all bet the farm on it. But I mean, having said that, Disney's not dumb. and this is the first time that J.J. Abrams has worked with Disney to produce something that's like they care about in terms of an ongoing franchise. Number one, but number two, they have a lot of the original cast from, creators from Empire Strikes Back working on this film. So Lawrence Kasdan, the person who wrote Empire, is actually writing this film. So I guess really what this is going to be is our way to see whether or not J.J. Abrams is terrible on his own, or if it was him working with Robert Orci, who is the guy who wrote the Star Trek movies, whether or not that was the factor that made them terrible. Because the Star Trek movies were terrible. I mean, let's be honest. The reboots, cast was great. It was fun seeing them on screen ripping stuff up, but the
cast was phenomenal.
Ridiculous. Like
I had a good time with them,
terrible.
but my expectations were correspondingly lower. In Disney's defense, while we're talking about all of this, Disney's acquired all kinds of properties over the past 10 years. Every time it's happened, people have called out that it's the doom for that property. It's the end because the mouse has gotten a hold of it. They bought the Muppets. They said, nope, that's going to ruin them. The Muppets are still amazing. They bought Marvel. Oh, they're going to ruin superheroes. Marvel products are still amazing. We just had Daredevil come out this year with a guy getting his head slammed in a fucking car door 12 times over.
Yeah, a little bit,
the mouse doesn't seem to have had an influence there. Star Wars has just been bought out. I expect it to follow the same pattern. Disney buys these properties because they know that they're successful.
Yeah.
They don't want to screw with them. And if you don't believe that by this point, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no, and it's true. I mean, like,
if
you look at what they've done with Marvel Comics so far, and I mean, the actual pamphlet comics, like the monthly issues, the sales have skyrocketed. Like, there's certain titles that they've released, old Marvel would never have done.
Nope.
Like, with the inclusiveness and having so many female leads in the books and stuff like this, that wasn't something that was even on the radar for normal Marvel before Disney came around. And now that Disney owns them, I guess they have like the financial stability to take those risks, even though they're not really risk. I mean, let's be fair. I mean, the demand for that type of product is just getting bigger and bigger as people get more in tune with being equal.
They wanted stuff. Well, part of the reason why they buy it, of course, they want another successful brand underneath their command, underneath the umbrella of the mouse. As I said, they don't want to screw with it. But also, too, they want stuff that they can put on lunchboxes and sell. They want more brands within their theme parks.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with any of that at all because they're not messing around with the core of what makes these things what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
well, at least we think, anyways. We don't know what the movie's like. Sure, but it seems like they're not. I mean, if
their history says that they shouldn't. Yeah, if they do, it would be surprising.
If we're going by the animated shows that they've put out, the fan reactions to things like Star Wars Rebels, let's say, has been phenomenal. Yeah, like people have looked at it and they said it's like one of the best Star Wars things that's ever
happened.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, but every diehard Star Wars fan, the ones that are drooling Star Wars that I know, they love Rebels. They say it's an outstanding contribution. What else are we supposed to think at this point?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like
we have to trust them.
If you follow, we're going to post the trailer that we just watched on the show notes. If you watch it to the end, there'll be a link to the season 2 trailer for Star Wars Rebels. And I've never seen the show, but after seeing that trailer, I kind of want to. Like, it looked really great, and the storytelling looked really good just from that little 5-minute promo or whatever. They give you like lots of explanations about what happened to the clone army after the clones all fall apart or whatever. And because a lot of people are like, oh, those stormtroopers in this movie, they can't be clones, and they're not.
They're not. Stormtroopers were never clones. They were always recruited.
They were always indentured servants, basically, or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, drafted. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course the competence went out the window when you don't have clones of Jango Fett running the show anymore.
But I mean, the trailer looked really good. I'm hopeful that this movie is going to be great. I know we're pretty excited about it no matter what. I'm definitely going to go see it.
It's so hard not to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll put it to you this way. Another thought that I had about it in regards to will Star Wars Episode 7 be good or not. I was first brought to see the movie in the theater when I was 6 years old by my dad. King's Theater is where I saw Star Wars. Fell in love. Empire Strikes Back, absolutely loved it. I was terrified of Darth Vader. Return of the Jedi, no different. Absolutely loved it. The prequels came along. I was excited. It was Disappointment 1, Disappointment 2, and Disappointment 3. I know what bad Star Wars looks like now.
Yeah.
I do. And that trailer is not bad Star Wars as far as I'm concerned.
There's a part of me that wants to go down that route and just be completely optimistic about it, but I also remember being like completely psyched when I saw the Phantom Menace trailer. Turn over to the dark side of corporate marketing.
Or the light side of whatever it is. It's an entertaining tale.
I don't know. So it comes out December 18th. You cannot get tickets in Winnipeg for the opening night. Rob got some. I know some other friends
John
have gotten
Booner,
some.
I appreciate it.
But for all the good theaters, it is basically sold out for that opening day. So you're going to be either getting them from Kijiji or you're waiting to the 19th like I am.
Don't worry, we're not going to spoil it for at least a week.
Exactly. Unless Neil deGrasse Tyson gets on Twitter, then I mean, you should probably just unfollow him on the 17th.
That would be a safe play.
Yeah.